Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Saturday, the weekend is here. I hope you're having a good one wherever you're watching or listening to this around the world. As always, thank you very much for joining me on a match day. Of course, match day in just a few hours' time because it is the early kickoff, the lunchtime kickoff, Aston Villa versus Arsenal at Villa Park. What a huge start to the weekend. I say it's a Saturday. Technically, I'm lying. I am actually recording this on Friday night because I am working today at Villa Park. I'll be in the press box. So by the time this video gets published, I'm actually going to be halfway up the motorway on my way to work. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't record it in the morning. So I've had to pre-record it the night before, just so I can guarantee to get something out. So if I've missed something massive that has happened overnight, if Arsenal have agreed a deal to sign Kylian Mbappe in January, which obviously isn't going to happen, but you know what I mean. If something like that has happened and I'm not talking about it on this show, it's because it has been pre-recorded on the Friday night because I'm on my route, on my way to Villa Park as you're watching this. So yeah, if you can't watch the game today and you just want to be following it, if you're out and about with the family and you want to follow it on your phone for live updates, I will be doing live updates from the press box across my social media channels for the game so you'll be able to keep up with it that way. And I will, of course, do my immediate match reaction video and player ratings after the full-time whistle as well. Right, let's get stuck into it, shall we? A few bits and pieces to get covered this morning. Obviously, bad news on Cristhian Mosquera. Sammy Mockbell reporting last night that Arsenal fear that Mosquera could be out for 6 to 8 weeks with the ankle injury he suffered against Brentford in midweek. It just never rains, but it pours, doesn't it? One thing after another when it comes to injuries at the moment for Arsenal. Just can't seem to catch a break. I mean, just a total freak of an injury. Again, jumping up for a header, coming down, landing awkwardly, do it 100 times and it'd be fine. And then this one time he just lands a little bit wrong, jars his ankle, and it's looking like 6 to 8 weeks potentially for Cristhian Mosquera. Obviously, this is not being confirmed yet, but Sammy's very, very good when it comes to injury updates, and it's just not looking great, is it? So that's just massively frustrating. He would have started today. Obviously, we've got no Saliba. Well, we don't know for sure. We haven't got Saliba yet today, but that's looking unlikely. We'll find out in just a couple hours' time when the team news gets announced. We know there's no Gabriel, and you needed Mosquera fit. You wanted Mosquera fit to play next to Nketiah. It's not going to be the case, so we're going to have to shuffle things around once again. Defensively, you would imagine it's going to be the same as we saw in the second half against Brentford in midweek. So Timber will come in and play at centre-back next to Nketiah, and you'd have Ben White sticking out at right-back with Calafiori at left-back, which is still a very strong defence. It's a strong defence. It's really top-quality players. But you want your best players in the best positions playing, especially in a game of this magnitude, this size, against a team in as good a form as Aston Villa. So it is a blow, no doubt about that. It's a blow, first of all, for Cristhian Mosquera. He's had to wait and bide his time because he's got two unbelievable centre-backs ahead of him in the pecking order. Just gets his chance to impress, and then bang, one bad landing and you're out potentially for a couple of months in a really crucial stage of the season. So yeah, disappointing news. We'll wait and see what happens with Leandro Trossard. There's a late decision on him, whether he's going to be involved in this one. Be nice if he is. Whether he'd be in the starting 11 if he's fit, probably doubtful at this stage now. You imagine he'll probably be on the bench if he is deemed fit and does travel with the squad, or has travelled with the squad. But it'll certainly be a nice little boost for everyone. And it's just as the attackers start coming back, the defenders start to go, don't they? It just seems to be always the way with Arsenal. It's like you get a little bit of good news on the injury front, start to look a little bit stronger in one area of the pitch where you've been struggling, then bang, you get hit in another area of pitch and a big load of cluster injuries like we've seem to be getting. It is massively frustrating, and it's just been the story of Arsenal's last couple of seasons. Obviously, the good thing is Arsenal have coped with it so well so far this season. They're top of the Premier League. They're top of the Champions League with a 100% record in the Champions League. They're 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League. They've done that all with a horrendous injury list. So it says a lot about the quality of the squad. It says a lot about the quality of the management. It says an awful lot about the quality of the players and the versatility that they've got. But, you feel like you can only get to a certain point. You need your best players fit consistently. And it's so massively frustrating. From an Aston Villa team news wise, that sort of revolves around Emi Martinez. He missed the midweek game against Brighton, wasn't it? He was actually it named in the starting 11 and then injured himself in the warm-ups, and Marco Bizot came in. And Unai Emery couldn't confirm yesterday whether he was going to be fit or not. He said we'll train later this afternoon. He didn't train yesterday, but it's very important for him how he is passing the hours and feeling better. Until the last moment, I don't know if he's going to be available or not for the Arsenal game. There's no Tyrone Mings for Aston Villa, and Ross Barkley as well, absent for them. So no Barkley, no Mings, Martinez, a doubt. But if he doesn't make it, then Marco Bizot being goal. In terms of the Arsenal team news, obviously we know no Mosquera. Late decision being taken on Trossard. Obviously the two other centre-backs, Saliba and Gabriel, very, very unlikely. Although Mikel didn't rule out Saliba yesterday. He stuck with the usual matter of days line, but feels unlikely. I think of the two, when it comes to Trossard and Saliba, Trossard has definitely got the better chance of the two of featuring in this game. So predicted 11 wise, this is what I think Mikel is going to do. So I've gone, as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, Raya in goal. Obviously, the back four is White, Timber, Nkapie, and Calafiori, which we saw following the injury to Mosquera in midweek against Brentford. So I imagine there'll be chat. I know you could potentially move Ben White into centre back and keep Jurriën Timber at right back, but I think it'll be what we saw against Brentford. I'll be surprised if it's not. I'm going with Rice in this starting 11. Obviously, there's a doubt over Declan Rice. Declan did say he was going to be fit during the week, so I'm taking that on sort of face value, and I'm sticking with it. So Declan Rice and Zubimendi as the midfield pair. I've then gone Saka, Odegaard. I'm going Eze on the left, and then Merino up top. Obviously, it could be Martinelli. It could be Madueke. It could even be Trossard if Trossard makes it. But I think he'll probably go with Eze. And, if Trossard makes it, it'll be on the bench. I feel like with Martinelli, the way that Villa play, the high line that he played, there is an argument that he could be a good shout for this game. But I also think that maybe looking at Martinelli off the bench with half an hour to go when Villa are tiring a little bit and that high line could get exposed even more, it feels like the more likely option to me in this one. So you might want to go with the extra bit of control that Eze potentially could bring near it, sort of working alongside Martin Odegaard in the attack and Merino up top. I know there's an argument again for Gyökeres to come back in for this one, but I just think Merino's playing so well, scoring goals, contributing assists, and he's fit and available. I'd be very, very surprised if Gyökeres comes back in for this game. I think Gyökeres will probably start in midweek in Bruges to try and get some minutes under his belt. But for now, I think it will be sticking with Merino up top. So that is my predicted 11. That's what I think Mikel is going to do. Raya, White, Timber, Nkapie, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice, Saka, Odegaard, Eze, and Merino. And I have to say, I think that is probably what I would do as well. I think that's probably the 11 that I want to see line up tomorrow. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see Saliba in there, but I just don't think that's going to happen. So I would go Timber and Nkapie as the two centre-backs. Doug has got in touch and says, give MLS some minutes in midfield. I mean, it's a good shout. Obviously, it's one that a lot of people agree with. We get it on here all the time. I'm just not sure that Mikel Arteta is going to do it because we've just seen very little evidence to suggest that he will, but he's more than good enough to play in midfield. No doubt about that. Tyrone says, I think we should start with Timber and Nkapie in the centre, leave White at right back and Calafiori at left back. White offers a little bit more going forward and overlaps could be key against low blocks. Kevin says, team for the game, Raya, Timber, Saliba, if fit, Nkapie, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Gyökeres, then either Martinelli, Trossard, if fit, or Eze. So Kevin is going with Gyökeres up front. That's the 11 that he wants to see. Thank you very much for you guys for sending in your comments. Appreciate that as always. One here from Trini. Oh, yes, this is on Calafiori. Trini says, I see an opportunity to have Calafiori work into that Rice role because of his box-to-box coverage, ball handling and aggressiveness in the final third. Do you think I'm overrating the player? I definitely don't think you're overrating the player. Calafiori is more than good enough to play in a midfield role. My one sort of slight fear on it would be just how fit and how strong your body needs to be to play in that sort of role. I mean, Declan Rice is just an absolute machine. The work he gets through, the distance he gets through week after week, game after game. My only fear would be Calafiori's body's capability more than anything to be able to do that. But mind you, he's getting through a hell of a lot of work and a hell of a lot of yards at the moment, playing where he is playing. But he's definitely good enough to do that. He's just that kind of unicorn player, Calafiori, isn't he? He can just play so many positions and play them so well because he's just a top quality footballer. And attributes are just through the roof. So no, I definitely don't think you're overrating the player. I don't think it's a position Mikel Arteta will have earmarked for him at the moment, but who knows down the line, you never know what a player is going to suddenly sort of transition into. Okay, on the twins at Arsenal have signed from Ecuador. Mikel was quite interested in these two yesterday on the in the embargoed section of the press conference. The quotes went out last night at 10:30. And yeah, I thought this was quite interesting what he had to say on it. He was asked kind of about the thinking of this, the sign-in, and he said, well, it's certainly something that I think is very positive. I mean, we can recruit the best talent that is out there. Obviously, the rules and limitation that the league provides in relation to using them before a certain age is a challenge, but we saw that as a good opportunity for us. And if we are to go ahead, I think that's something very positive. On why the club are sort of looking to go down this path with that sort of international South American type recruitment. He was asking, is this in sort of direct result of what you've seen Chelsea doing and other clubs doing and operating in? And Mikel says, yes, there's always been that. I think for many years we've talked about it. The last week, you guys were asking me about the multi-club possibilities as well. So it's something that is emerging there. For many clubs, they've been doing it for years, which in my opinion is a big advantage if you do it correctly. We need to start somewhere, and that's what we did. I thought that was a really interesting line from Mikel there, where he's saying that we needed to start somewhere. So is this the start then? This is we're seeing Arsenal really sort of shift towards that type of recruitment and potentially the multi-club model that Mikel talks about there. It's something Arsenal have not done yet, but they've seen Chelsea do it, Manchester City do it. I don't like the idea. I've said it before. Multi-club models just, I don't know, morally, ethically, there's just bits and pieces of it that just make it feel wrong to me. But in the world of football nowadays, everything ethically and morally, it's like you've got to park that to one side for so many reasons when it comes to football these days, as much as you'd love not to. And, I feel for, if you get like Strasbourg, for example, I know Strasbourg are having a good season under Liam Rosenior and they seem to be benefiting, but it's not long ago where it looked like they were an absolute mess, and it all goes its peaks and troughs as well. And just if you're a fan of that club and yet you're kind of owned by another club and you're just getting players chucked at you, and then you think you've got a good player, then bang, that player gets taken away and suddenly you're left without him. It just feels wrong. I'd hate to be a fan of one of those clubs, and which is why Arsenal getting involved in it kind of freaks me out a little bit. But it's football at the end of the day. If you're not doing it, you can be left behind. You're lagging behind your rivals. So I just thought it was interesting when Mikel says we need to start somewhere, and this is what we've done basically with the addition of these two players who so many top clubs wanted. Arsenal got them. They won the race for them. They're not going to be here until 2027, August 2027, when they turn 18. But it's just a very different type of signing for Arsenal. When asked about going in the international market when it comes to young players rather than just sort of operating in the local, more domestic market, Mikel says, for me, the first intention obviously has to be to develop our own players in-house, but that doesn't mean you have to close the door on any talent that we have. That goes for players, and it goes as well for staff, I think. So interesting stuff, I thought, from Arteta on the additions of the Quintero twins for Arsenal. A couple of you guys were getting in touch on this. Thank you very much. There was more than just three, because I was talking about it yesterday, and I was like, I'm surprised that one of them is left-footed, one of them is right-footed. I just always imagined twins would be the same, but lots of you have got in touch to call me up on it and to correct me. So thank you very much. I learned something new every day, including the big gooner AJ, Josh, and Angry Pacifist are all saying it's quite common for twins to have opposite dexterity. They're mirror twins. Maybe it can be an extra substitution when nobody is looking for. Jokes the big gooner AJ. Josh says identical twins tend to mirror each other's mirror images of each other, so they have opposite dexterity. And Angry Pacifist says left-handedness is related to neuronal migration in the womb, so it is very possible that even though both twins have the same genetic blueprint, the deliberate randomness of brain development can lead to dominance of either left or the right side. Much like the way a tree branches as it grows, there is an inbuilt randomness in the process as to how they can both turn into Arsenal superstars. Well, that is just magic. So thank you very much for everyone for teaching me something new. Never thought it, but now it kind of makes sense, the whole sort of mirror images of themselves. Now that kind of makes sense to me when it's been explained. And like I said, there was a lot more than just three of you pointing that out in the comments yesterday. So thank you very much. Look, a very educational channel. As well as football, we get educated as well. What more do you want? What more can you want? That is it for me. Anyway, today, thank you. Well, not today, because I'll be putting out another show after the full-time whistle. Today, fingers crossed. This feels like a big game. It is a big game, no doubt about it. Aston Villa, obviously third, can move to within 3 points of Arsenal. If they beat Arsenal, they're the most informed team in the league since September. And Arsenal got injury issues. It's been a really tough week, 2 weeks for Arsenal. This will be the fifth game in 13 days that they've had to play, including Tottenham, Bayern, Chelsea, Brentford, and now they finish it off here. It's like, feels like the one last big push before it just gets a little bit easier, the schedule. Fingers crossed they can come through it. Fingers crossed they can get a very good result, because it would certainly be a massive one. So yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy the game. If you're going to be there, if you're watching it or listening to it around the world, enjoy the game, and I will speak to you after. Take it easy, everyone. Bye-bye.